Bramato at Swama Mamunina ha, TETE MMOFRA online TV so. Nyame adom yensa kakasiaba nsem ni nyina ye de bremo na edi kan no de edi nsem ni mu bi pa ene se omampani ate ho akire Ghana fo ekwan a sisi ye bekọ amanone akoye nnwuma ene kuku bo a ebeba foforo kra se eye ni gisem afi ye kọ owura wuntumi aloya fo nso a omakase ekwan a ofaso na wonya be ede ama owura yi Ghana Shippers Authority for nso echira na enye kura se ye Ghana Bar Association omo aye nhwe han sa na maame tokonu ensem no ejentre ha ebio nso ye lawyer asifua Vincent odi atudwa se nia NDC for eye no omo hwe yi nene ena wie bo a echina nsuo beto sanso ena ye Chief Justice a okure ho nsem no ano ebinom nso echira na yebeka no ene na yesa na nso daachi bi de beka se obey enso bia na akachi sansem we ene ne kekeka ho ena mede ne nchiremu ebremo obra Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association so e de atudwa se omde ji umgina no mugina omonka se ebufu a obofu no wajai enuna na Opoku Agyemang ena me no wahye ma emrai na me sane nsem num enkyerɛw no enchiremu ne didi soyi Ghana mampani John Dramani Mahama ede atudwa a che Ghana fo se wode nhye agu akwamu a woni amahoro bebre ekasa na Ghana mabudu titiro no obetime ede wo akoye enwuma okira na sa nhye we no bre oba no ye bi na sisi de wo beye amemu adosuko sebeye nipa dodo no ebenya adwuma ye okira na ne fe dikaye no nipa makoma be se mpem mienu ne benya kwan no akọ amanhoro so a ono mbekọ akoye adwuma o sa nhye no enye no de nipa na ekọ ne bia okoto adwuma na bibi na mum Ghana ba enim hu bi ena o man kra okoso no so wonso enim hu bi nje nipa na okọ a ade bi o se ne nsaka na adwuma yem ne bambo ni nyina no eya ade a amami no akasa asie nti na eye adwuma pepepa a ebe kyeresa mpa so bai so obepe adwuma amamabuna na ne oguso ye no ne kwa aso no no.
We'll soon launch a Ghana labor export program. There are labor shortages in many countries across the world. We are negotiating with several of those countries to export some of our professionals to work on fixed-term contracts abroad. This will include agricultural workers, construction workers, electricians, welders, mechanics, health workers, chefs and caterers, drivers, machine operators, warehouse supervisors, among others. A contract has already been signed with one country for the export of 2,000 temporary workers. Young qualified people will be selected fairly from all the 16 regions of our country, including Ahafo.
He said, "Dear Uninsan, you might say, be a catchy, and I say, TETE so electrician and Hama and catchy. Free I could see Aboswing or Trendy Mutre, bet me I could swim be. Now so say Unima Fidibi Camper, now you could drama and would only be swa. And not the Obana Benania, boom, 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 boom. Now so quenimo abrabum. And no man penny saying, Jenna so no catch a force a woman come and told me, you say, she say, sure, there, but no be a dead amaque juma. O man penny say, Onyame ya doma, bosongo twi di enimu ya no. Obebi atum viso ne kuku bodu fo mpanimfo nyina kasa ama kuku adwumayefo bo no wahehye no mpeso obete ho siesia aboso nwotwe no so no bie bo no so a obia be kwa akopa asase no aye kuku adwuma.
We'll soon launch a Ghana labor export program. There are labor shortages in many countries across the world. We are negotiating with several of those countries to export some of our professionals to work on fixed-term contracts abroad. This will include agricultural workers, construction workers, electricians, welders, mechanics, health workers, chefs and caterers, drivers, machine operators, warehouse supervisors, among others. A contract has already been signed with one country for the export of 2,000 temporary workers. Young qualified people will be selected fairly from all the 16 regions of our country, including Ahafo.
Untumi bela nyame adom wanya no mu na eno na amra sebedwani a owo gushegu MPP ni onwanyamfo alasa S Tampuli ode atudwa se ye owura untumi lawyer Andi Apia Kubi kanokre pa na nema wo maye no nukure ni o maya de se wo se wo cha na one owura gari ni makomu nyina dwene ho mo nso mbo na mane na onyina ye ne se ampa ekwan wofra wo faso say the na you kwedi ka 50 million Ghana cedis ansa na yetimi be no na no odena nti na wo se won famra no nkofie na nso oda hyem no ope kwan foforo so se ba obenya agina so na untimi atimi afa ne ho adie.
On timelines. On Tuesday, after he had left in the afternoon, he was picked up. So naturally 48 hours would lapse in the afternoon on Thursday. All right. So we're trying to get all these, bail conditions met before that time. So on Friday, Gary was instructed by Chairman Wuntumi's wife and his aide, not the party. Gary is the director of legal for the party, but he was not instructed by the general secretary or the chairman or the national council, by Chairman Wuntumi's wife.
Thanks for that information.
And so he got in touch with Honorable Andi Apia Kubi and was asking for updates. Where are we? We haven't been able to get all the necessary. So Gary was proposing that let's file processes, let's file an habeas corpus applications, or let's file another motion for variation of the bill conditions. Then Andy said, and according to Gary, Andy said he was in the process of doing so. Up to about 2:35, when the process was filed, I think Andy hadn't done so. So clearly, Chairman Wuntumi's wife was agitated. And she did that. She wants to see her husband, regardless of what is going on behind her. She wants to see her husband. And she wants to see the lawyers to be doing something. So if you are doing something and it's not known to her, obviously she will not be satisfied.
I see.
So she properly instructed Gary. And Gary is not a meddlesome interloper as far as this matter.
And Gary filed the application.
Gary filed the
at
application.
2:35.
2:35.
Okay.
On Friday.
So the two of them appear to disagree.
So they were communicating.
Okay.
So it is not as if Gary went ahead to file the processes.
Andy is being accused. Andy Apia Kubi is being accused of, because he's already shown support for Brian Agyemang. Because he's the first who came to announce that Brian Agyemang will contest. So he wants to get some favor, or he wants to use this to create a better leverage for Brian Agyemang. Because before the Brian Agyemang equation came in, it was the other candidate, and then later it was Baumia, who was said to have.
Tampuli ene lawyer Gary Nimakon kan wadwene bo ho no na o mo kire mu se untumi yere se de na sia fini kunu so o ma no anya gina so ama wa nkofia ene bi aka awura no bibi beye no ni nyina aka ho bi enene wogya yewura se o nkofie na fi asem no mu enhwemu de entoa so na opani kwanchefo da Ghana Shippers Authority ano ena wotutu bi mane Ghana Bar Association ye aloya fo nkabo mu kuewo oman wose wo ho ye no nwanwa pa di obisa se ye wo aloya fo nkabo mu ku ewo memu wose di onim ni se bra na MPP edi ade no enkofo yi eye ni no makom ho abom no ma beta asem se echi ne koba ne se ne de aban foforo ba ya eye NDC na wose ma me get toko no enkofie se woye atemuafo nyina pani no makom ma no atum a omo nka bi se was so wako Emma Abano so any intimate ena Mama yen share na yentie Professor Ransford Jampo.
Go and read what the Ghana Bar Association itself initially said about the process. The bigger association, go and read what they said and compare it to suddenly some 40 people went to meet somewhere, also said they are Ghana Bar Association, and then they decided to be saying, something that are contrary to, what the bigger association has said. You cannot use the 46 or whatever people, what they said, as a representative of the position of the Ghana Bar Association. In any case, do we truly have a Ghana Bar Association in Ghana? In any case, do we truly have a Ghana Bar Association? Don't we have? Ghana? Is the Ghana Bar Association, please, is the Ghana Bar Association that credible? An association that keeps quiet when one regime is in power and begins to find its voice when another regime gets to power. Are they credible? Where were they? Where were they when some of these things were going on in the previous administration? So, an association whose credibility, in my view, is in tatters like that. It is unfortunate, it is not good for anybody to use 46 out of them, their view, to make a general statement about their position.
Mrasebe no wa otafo abato mpesua so Kumasi ya osaye lawyer ni Ra Vincent Asifua wose NDC for ekwa mafa so ehunhuna MPP for no ene aba ekwa emu nipa no omuhweyi na seye no no saa na chinebeye okira na efisi omobedi ade ekwa mafa so a empasem ba omoye ne sa kon na esie no omotwe nkofo aboso no omuhweyi o se mo amu nimse matene chiri pen mo bam mo sa akoe ene na MPP nso wotena chiri obam wasan akro edibi ebeduru da bi no na san akosesa na ekoba saa omagina so pa ba ese o se wono do ye babunu onum se de ekoso enyina anya dan a ombefiri mofi nemum ombetwere sie pa se dachi bi se MPP amanyokuo no san batumi mu pe ene NDC ni bi obebo dinafa amane no how bia ho a aba ne nsa be kan de omo nye ni 50 million cedis ni bi o na yakwa kan japade aboma mo wanya no akofie omo hyeda maso 1 billion cedis no am de abetu 3 so ho na be hunu sampa de oye nra no ene na wutua ho ka
because what dear gra senior any time that the MPP comes to power, as I said, even if it's 20 years, we are young people and we are seeing what is happening. Why when you are with you, you have 1 billion bail conditional. Because that is the law. You have 1 billion bail conditional. Why are we turning our country into a kind of undemocratic country where we've come from? Baby, we have free about the now your man not to say Sebi should be sir. Please, power is transferred. The NDC should be watchful. Nipa on one kasa a free fee senior. But he said institution appointed by who? No, one and Raymond, your friend said Raymond, he was just appointed. Senior. And a state institution does not show any respect to a statesman like Dr. Muhammad Baumia. Why? And in Guasianoa, they are tempting. So we go Dr. Muhammad Baumia. Trust me, if they don't take care, it might be replicated. It might be replicated.
Obenfo Joshua J. Zato owo University of Ghana mu osan ekire amanyosem na fe enhwemu ahodo bi e fa nema ye pese ehunu no oye bi edi tudwa ose enema bi a ekoso no sese Ghana for ye twro abakosem foforo ewo mampani John Dramani Mahama epenso oye nsem a okani nyina de opa akira ne se otimua fo pani pa na yesi yeyi no na eye wono na temuafo nkabo mu kuo pa womo entimi nkasaye otwe no ho a onte ase kra aye Association of Magistrates and Judges so makoma no atum omunka bi mama mi omunka ho nso hwe afi wo kira na wose se otemuafo pani a ye woni nkonsia na ye ni sie nom ne ade no omampani nso onhwe se enam ne kwa so pepepe ana tirimupo bi ewo ho se ekwa bia so wono ye hwan kra obekọ ekoba ade a ene maame no na Ghana man nyina be kai ne dache papa se ne penso asem sei ena esi ya ye twema mentwe.
I'm glad and I'm happy that the Chief Justice is not a sitting duck. I'm happy and glad that she is not quitting. She's not cutting and running. Her fight is a virtual. And I want to see her fight just to the very end. At the end of the day, she's fighting with honor, she's fighting with integrity. She will go, I know. But these rulings by the Supreme Court of the court will stay. They will add to the general jurisprudence of these legal cases. She would go, but history would say that there was once a Chief Justice who did not fight when the whole might of the state was brought against her. Who did not quit when everything seemed bleak to her. Who did not quit when her own union betrayed and abandoned her. That she stood, she fought to the very last end until she went. Her children will be proud of her. Women in Ghana will be proud of her. People in Ghana, when we read this story, which will be a landmark case in President Dramani Mahama's history, whenever we are writing the history of President Dramani Mahama, this case is not going to be an anecdote. It's going to be a chapter, if not a book on its own. It will also be said in that book that the woman did not run away with a tail around her legs, that she stood boldly, proudly, and fought for what she believed, and fought for her ideals, and that she fought to the very end.
Osamu pen now that news center no ura FVS da kon wase enukureni ekwan a Ghana bambofo binum efa so ye adwuma no wo mo hweyi na airtime wo kira na edi aposifo sojafo ene yuokofo yi security agencies no se ebia ye kwachi obi na o ma hyehye o mo te se de wokon no ena asi o mamu a o mo ne amahoro sofo bi kwakwen endi se pa na edi adwuma owura yi kira na se ya no mbeye de a na ni di mone a eye bambofu bi eje no ebeto aso saa ma da che obi bo obi di oye posini oye sojani oye adwo oyoko oye adwo NIB enom ne ade a amanfo beda fo masere twe ka se wo mo nanso efiri wose wo mu se ebi asem beba ye bechi obi nom ne ade de nanso se ye Ghana fo na Ghana mara no boye ho ban de e wo se fa kwampa so obi nipa no be unsampa emra no mpo na edi me enti na akoba se ne me nipa na dwene nya ne se me de otan na omotan me enti e na abasa
media houses he owns. He owns mining company. He owns a construction company. He owns that. And we are saying that because of some investigation, he will abandon all this thing and run away from Ghana. And for that reason, we have to lock him up for 7 days. You see, some of this argument, it makes no sense. Nobody will arrest Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg in America and say they are locking him up. They know the guy has so much asset that leaving America is not his interest. So no matter what the issue, the guy will be home, case will file in court, whatever needs to be done will be done. So I think that we have to refine the way our investigative institutions do work. If they refine the way they do work, that is where confidence of public will begin to grow in them. But when you continue to do things like this, question is, for 7 days that you are detaining one to me, what exactly are you telling me? What questions are you asking to me for 7 days? There are people who are detained for these institutions and they are not asking the questions. They are just arrested and locked up. They just lock them. They won't ask them any question. They just lock them up until they feel like let's release him. Then they release the person. This is how our security, they have become like terrorists, okay? And as I've said it, look, when politicians use state security apparatus to threaten and harass the citizens, they should be careful. Because then when the same state security apparatus that you are using to harass the citizens now overthrow the politicians, then the same politicians who were using the security agents to threaten the citizens now run to the citizens and say, let's hit the road and demonstrate that these security agents should give power to politicians. These are the politicians who look at it though. You are using the system to threaten and harass the ordinary people. But then when the same security you are using to threaten and harass the ordinary people turn around and overthrow your government, then you now realize that you rather need the citizens who you are harassing now to go on the street to demand that the country should return to democracy. Politicians should be careful. I don't see how in this day and age it's not terrorism, it's not armed robbery, it's not something that this is somebody who has so many assets in Ghana, which you should clearly know that this guy cannot run away and leave all his assets in Ghana simply because somebody says investigating. You can do this investigation. You can give one to me that, look, I need you for 1 month. Every day, 4 to 10, come to this institution. Let's investigate. And you see, the reason is political is crude. Is this. CID invites him. And then he goes to the CID headquarters. Yeah. And by the time CID we have granted him, Iyoko is lurking at the gate. Gram, they arrest him. Iyoko carries him to Iyoko. Yeah. When people mass up there and they start, oh, now he's at NIB. And then this is what you realize. This should tell you that they are not really looking for anything meaningful. That is my conclusion. Well. Because if you are looking for anything meaningful, I think that you can still get it without going through all these crude means of just teaching the person a lesson. And this is mostly about we want to teach him a lesson. So let's teach him a lesson.
Unless for any one yanma wajia war Kabumuku, a Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association. Nefe was antimantemwa de atu dwa se omubufu ya omaka se omo eje oma home omo nkwadwuma ko isa ban no beye omo apede no ebinu num se omo twasem no so nanke ne ene wo se omo twaso se de wo di kan ye wo adwene nanso wo se ogina bufu na mu enam se enhye no ankoye na bisi ne omo nhye dante asempe bia enti no omo gina bufu no ma enya de a omo be kwadwuma da mama yenti ekuo no ma no bi se de na omo si kyerensem no.
What we are talking about is not negotiation. What we are talking about is signed, sealed, delivered condition of service. That was signed May 2024, exactly a year today. It is 1 year old condition of service we are talking about, which government came, we started engaging government in January 2025. We've done those engagements for quite about 5 months. And according to the same ministry in the same release, they said we have met them for 5 times. And it is true. So signed, delivered condition of service. What are we meeting over? Especially so, all health unions in health that had those conditions of service. We have done it. They have paid all of them except nurses. So if you are on the same equivalent rank, what we call relativity, for instance, if I'm NO, you are a dietitian, we are supposed to be on relative salary. And now the dietitian is gone higher than the nursing officer because the DRNMA bargaining certificate, that condition of service that was negotiated, is not being implemented. What all others have theirs implemented. So implement it straight away. Signed, delivered condition of service is signed. We are not negotiating. If we are negotiating, that is different. That is why you can come that what we were about agreeing with the old government, you didn't like it, and so let's negotiate again. This is signed.
Mr. Free Anto insists enough consideration has been given to the government to effect the implementation, hence the association's resolution to strike.
So the strike plan is still on?
Oh, the plan is on. The only thing that can stop the plan is government writing to start implementation. You understand? As soon as they...
Anesi for edi so na de ewie kasebo no asi ahaya ene eye dwada nyame adoma ye sorry free news yi so pe enche na TETE MMOFRA akohunu entertainment no eso eto aso no miensa ekro no so Ghana nkoso a eye politics eno so ebeto aso men sorry men ko ba bia impose bibinti na wati ahwe ebra ya no gusuo ya unya adaje kwa unya adaje tia unya adaje hwa wa bensampa ya wonsempa pa de mom e TETE MMOFRA online TV so ya ko social media hodo ni nyina so nsabekan ana sense tititia official ejako na osunya ensem no bitie utie na wadwenkyire bi aya fabra nsusue bi ana kwesem bi ewo ho a fabra ni nyina ye besom ne ene wadi dwuma no fefefe efise ye nyina ye dia medindi no na Opoku Agyemang mamfa musia na yenkomra.